Mr. Smith, I was wondering if you had a few minutes to visit with me about our new dyslexia policy of waiting until second grade to test students. I have a few ideas about it and I wondered if I could share them with you.
Of course, I have a few minutes to visit with you. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm just very concerned about this policy because if we do not assess students for dyslexia until the second grade, then we will have allowed them to get so very far behind. I mean, this could become catastrophic for our students. It does such damage to their self-esteem, their motivation, and they have to endure such daily frustrations of just trying to read. It is hard to help a student make progress when they get so down on themselves and believe they cannot do it. We have to consider a better policy. We cannot continue to allow students to fall so very far behind, or worse yet, go undiagnosed altogether. As we know, tens of thousands of students unfortunately do. We must make a change and start putting students first.
I understand your concerns, Ms. Barrow, but it is very common for schools to wait. We do not want to mistakenly label any students, especially when they are so young.
Mr. Smith, we really can make an accurate and precise judgment about students with dyslexia tendencies. You know, I just finished reading Overcoming Dyslexia by Sharon Shaywitz, and to quote her, "In the case of dyslexia, our knowledge of the phonologic weakness and its impact across the lifespan now allows us to make a remarkably informed clinical judgment with a high degree of confidence. It is possible to determine if a child has dyslexia even before they enter kindergarten. We know if students have a history of dyslexia in their families and are struggling with language at an early age, we need to intervene. The sooner we get students identified, the quicker we can get them the needed help, and the less frustrations they have to endure, and the less damage done to their self-esteems. Students should not be left to make feel stupid or dumb when we can do something about it. By allowing students to fall so far behind before offering a lifeline, you're resorting back to the discrepancy model, and we all know that helps no one. That just gets our students into a situation that they have to make up a lot of their fundamentals."
Ms. Barrow, we cannot go around willy-nilly diagnosing everyone. We have to allow students opportunity to learn. And as we all know, some of our students are from low socioeconomic homes and do not have a strong foundation in language, much less any type of quality instruction before coming to school.
But that's what I'm saying to you, Mr. Smith. We can diagnose dyslexia with great accuracy. We can observe children and see if they're having phonological difficulties and even give specific tests if needed. We also know that if students test low in phonology in the first grade, they will still be far behind their peers in the fifth grade. We have got to identify these students and intervene at the earliest possible time so that we can provide the necessary strategies and exposure to print much more intensely and for longer periods of time. Every day that we let our struggling readers go unidentified, they lose so much experience of reading and the opportunity to gain vocabulary growth, causing them to fall farther behind. There is so much we can do for them. Starting in kindergarten, we can make sure teachers are focusing on the early stages of phonological awareness. We can stress that they read and sing and play rhyme games with our students and are reading and making up alliterations with our students, that they understand the importance of wordplay and demonstrating to students the smallest units of sounds, and are having the students manipulating those phonemes. Teachers can be trained to continue the process teaching explicit and systematic phonics to give these students the strategies that needed for success. In fact, Mr. Smith, the National Reading Panel found that all students benefit from strong phonics foundation and make greater progress than any other type of instruction.
Ms. Barrow, I hear what you're saying and understand, but the cost to the district can be astronomical.
Mr. Smith, I have a new proposal for a different policy. A policy that I believe puts our youngest students first. Since we are already screening all kindergartners using the Ames Web assessments for letter naming fluency, letter sound fluency, phoneme segmentation fluency, and nonsense word fluency, some of the key indicators to reading success, why don't we at least consider flagging the students that score below average and target them with intense instruction during our RTI blocks? We won't label any students at this time, but at least we could start gathering data for an SST folder. Though I hope the intense instruction will allow students to be successful. We could use our own district personnel, including myself, to help train teachers on the process of identifying students who show characteristics of dyslexia and the activities and instruction needed to help these students with dyslexia. Teachers are not only capable and willing to accommodate dyslexic students, I truly believe the only reason general education teachers are not doing more is because they do not know what to do. Imagine if we educated all our teachers to be cognizant of these issues and to have the tools in their tool belts to help fix or lessen the problem. Plus, Mr. Smith, it is all just good research-based practices and instruction for all students. We would be strengthening Tier 1 instruction along with benefiting dyslexic, ELLs, and other struggling readers.
You make some good points, Miss Barrow.
Think, Mr. Smith. We know the earlier the diagnosis, the greater effect we'll have on the progress of our students. We know if we catch these problems in kindergarten, it is much better for our students. Instead of being reactive and spending thousands and thousands of dollars to drill and kill our third graders and all of our test students in testing grades, what if we were proactive and spent the time and money on kindergartners and first graders preventing a lot of these problems? What if we targeted them to get them on grade level and have the ability to pass state assessments? Can you imagine how the superintendent, the school board, our teachers, principals would react to that? How great would that be?
Miss Barrow, I agree with you, but I am not sure how we can make this happen.
Mr. Smith, we just have to keep fighting the good fight and putting students first. We know what is best for our struggling readers, and it is not to struggle through the second grade. We must be advocates for these students. We must be cheerleaders for these students. We have to identify them and get them help. We have to get our teachers the knowledge to help them. We need to set up a meeting with the superintendent and stress to him the importance of identifying students who are struggling to read, especially those who we believe have dyslexic tendencies. As we both know, these students a lot of times are the brightest students in our school, and they deserve the chance to know how smart they really are. They deserve to excel in our programs, and we have the power to show them.
I agree, Miss Barrow. When should we set up this meeting?
I don't know, Mr. Smith. I guess we had better look at our calendars.
Calendars are great.